Kind of picks and bans mold this game before we get on the Rift. Fiora is going to be locked out as per usual. The Elise goes away from Kirei as well.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see a decent amount of top lane bans this game because Hauntzer has been performing really well on TSM. He has been a consistent force, and even when they were having a little bit of a slump and not having the cleanest of victories, he was still a rock in that top lane in an aggressive way. He wasn't playing these tanks, he was playing things like Fiora, like the Poppy, and he's able to come up with good engages, with good split pushing. So I think Hauntzer is actually making a case for himself to be in that conversation for one of the top laners in North America.
Absolutely. The Poppy play really put him up there on that play.
Yeah.
Seeing the mechanics in that, the dodging plays, and really getting himself in 1v1 situations to come out on top. Really put shined a light on that mechanic ability. Gangplank. And the last one for TSM. What will they decide to put to the wayside here before the picks go live?
Yeah, you ban out the Kog'Maw or
Lulu left up. Shifter loves the Lulu. You keep the lane cleared. Something like that, or Victor, we saw continuously played against TSM in the finals with CLG. Polebells are kind of just stuck to wave clear, keep Yerkes in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Corki, though, is picked up. That still could be going to Shifter, as the Lulu may make it her way to TSM
take Lulu,
side.
and then you take a jungler that you want. There you go. Gragas there for Sven Skaren. He played that yesterday, and he was 1-7-13 on it, but he was a big part of how they separated the fights on Cloud9. And of course, there's actually that final fight against Cloud9 going back to yesterday's game, where Hauntzer went aggressive. His Poppy ultimate knocked up 3 people, and Sven Skaren's barrel actually landed, his ultimate did, when they were all invulnerable, so he actually didn't displace them in that final fight. So if they do pick Poppy here, TSM need that communication down.
There's always been kind of a synergy, I wouldn't say issue, but there's that possibility for the cask to always go off at the wrong time, and completely mess up a fight you were planning for the last 10 minutes of the game.
You can wreck your own game plan.
Absolutely.
The dis-synergy there if you don't perform. People always say, you know, Gragas is easy. No. Learning the travel time of the barrel based on distance is sometimes rather rough.
Right. You could easily break up your own fight. Kindred possibly for Kirei here. Also pretty scary with a Gragas on the board, knocking a Kindred out of her ultimate much easier than Lee Sin would have to. So we go for the Alistar and Lucian.
All right, so yeah, especially since Gragas is back in the meta, I expect to see less and less Kindred.
Right.
Because Gragas and Lee Sin were really good counters to the Kindred ultimate. And going to see the Alistar here for Kiwi Kid. Staple pick for him here. Now we know that this is already going to be a mid lane Corki because the Lucian is picked up. They don't want to have a Lucian for double lift alongside the Lulu. It's something that SKT used to run, and they still like to run, where they put Faker on Lulu and then they have Bang on Lucian. He just wins the game via that combo.
That's Bang.
Yep. Get the run forward, super fast, run back.
Oh, good. Oh, Bang. Well, we'll see how Apollo does on that Lucian, and it's going to be double lift on Caitlyn this game.
So yeah, I like the Braum pick here because you're up against double marksman composition. There's a little bit of poke, and I think Braum with a Caitlyn, you land that Q, the slow, you're going to be able to get multiple shots off. And this is going to be a very, I want to say, difficult team to break the siege on for TSM. They have some decent wave clear here. They have the Gragas that stops engages. And then Braum stops some wave clear from multiple champions. And then the traps from Double Lift. Double Lift is one of the first people to bring out Caitlyn in North American LCS, and his trap usage back against Immortals was really, really good. I love the way that he sets it up in that defensive and offensive line based on the position that his team is in. And I'm actually going to keep track of this game, point it out a few times for you guys.
I'm a really big fan of a few traps down, and then almost using one active trap in a fight that you can catch somebody off guard with for their CC or their movement towards you. It's actually quite effective to have just a few in your pocket. Let's see what we get on this last pick here. Hauntzer looking towards the top lane. Still has a chance for his Poppy. We talked about just a little bit before. Up against possibly a Malphite. There's no lane swap.
Well, Vladimir's fine against Malphite because you get a pretty much free lane. He's not going to harass you down. He spends too much mana to do so. Quinn against Oh my
Quinn
god.
Quinn for the win.
Oh.
You were talking about Quinn.
It's a hard matchup. For memory's sake, Huni was solo killed level 5 by a Malphite. I think some of the hardest matchups for Quinn are Malphite because you can't do as much as you want to in the early game. And if you get ganked early, Quinn is feast or famine. You're going to get very far behind it, and you have to go to different lanes to affect them. Of course, Quinn can flank double AD carries, and that's the plus here, is that Quinn can get to that back line if you play it correctly. It's just really rough in the laning phase here. He's going to need some help, and that Svenskeren upsets that lane. He can snowball. It's just very difficult against an armor stacking Malphite.
You get a fast finger on that Q, and the vault pretty much leaves you back in range to get slapped around a few times. Nothing you want, slow that attack speed with ground slam, everything that an AD carry would not want. We'll see how Haunter plays that up against Billy Boss. Looking at the lanes, looks like we may actually get that lane swap in on this one. But we do know Kiwi Kid on the Alistar does like to go a little bit hard if they can get that level 2, as anybody would. Very, very big time to get that spike and get that lane advantage for the duos, especially against Yellowstar and Doublelift. We saw Doublelift going off yesterday. Let us know which of these teams you think are going to be taking the Nexus. Tweeting your votes to @LOL Esports with the hashtag DIGWin or the hashtag TSMWin. As always, we tally up your votes. You know this. It's the same thing every time. Hashtag TSMWin, hashtag DIGWin. @LOL Esports, hit it up. We're about to be on the Rift. And so far through this split, teams at the top of the table looking to keep those records, and the teams at the bottom climbing as fast as possible.
TSM, they want to stay in contention for second place.
Yeah.
CLG just winning their game. Staying up there in Cloud9 playing immediately after. We could still have a 3-way tie for second place at the end of the day, the end of the week here. Then we go into week 7. So 2/3 of the way through the split, multiple teams tied for those top spots.
Yep.
Dignitas, though, talked about how their drafts the last few weeks have been questionable. This is a triple AD carry composition with some magic damage for Corki, but then they have a hard engaged champion and another hard engaged champion that can also be some disengaged. So this is a composition that when you get your power spikes, you have to identify it, you have to group up, and you have to use it appropriately. TSM, a little bit of a split push here, a little bit of a stopping of the siege. We'll see what happens, because when you group up against a Caitlyn on as 5 people and you're trying to siege down a turret, she can kind of wall off the turret with traps. By that point, you hope Billy Boss has enough armor to soak it and not take too much damage. But then she just puts the trap down again. So if it's level 13 Caitlyn, you're definitely in for a long siege. Becomes trench warfare at that point.
Just sitting back, hopefully find Bjergsen without any mana at some point.
Yeah.
Again, towards the fact that more mids going towards these support champions. We see it with Bjergsen here on Lulu this game to also help protect the AD carries he has on his side. Seems to be the name of the game lately. Everybody wants to be an AD carry.
Yeah. AD carries are good. Everybody wants to be an AD carry. I mean, even like on Immortals, right? He's like, I'm going to swap to I'm going to swap to AD carry.
Yep.
Up. I can play top. Never mind, guys. I'm good. I'm good. I get more gold this way too. It's fine.
Yeah.
I get more levels.
Solo anywhere, and it's mine.
Yep. Here though, oh, Kiwi Kid.
How
took
rude!
Took it.
Do it. Take the other one. You won't.
Svenskeren. Oh no.
He did.
Oh. Yeah, I like how you take it. You won't. Oh, he took it.
Okay.
Oh, you got me. So jungling on the strong side of the map there, get a little bit punished, but TSM wants to lane swap this Quinn away. Make sure they have an okay laning phase for her. Because as long as Quinn goes unharassed, then she's fine for that mid game. Billy Boss, though, he won't have too much gold when they end up grouping up again. Maybe he'll have a chain vest to his name, possibly a Bonnie Cinder.
Doublelift getting straight peacemakers on that top wave. You can see he was quite far under to already get the second wave as it was coming up. And he's going to be meeting up now.
Sometimes a little bit worse, though, because look at this wave. Not too many creeps. Now, if we go down bottom, you're going to see a gigantic wave here.
Yes.
Because they stalled it. So there's a difference between when you push the wave. If fast pushing is not always the best push, because there's way more effective HP in that bot side.
So they'll have a bit more time with the turret now, feeding a few more waves to the top. It should be matched as everybody got there.
Yep.
You can see Shifter taking quite a bit of damage from Bjergsen in the mid lane.
Yep. You can see not enough minions here, so they're going to have to back off, pull the wave, clear it, wait a second, and see what happens. I want to see what the answer is here. They'll kill the turrets about the same time, but Dignitas, this one's going to have to be thinned out a little bit more, so they'll stall out the turret. We'll see if it bounces.
This is the bounce we were talking about last game.
I think it'll bounce, though. The DPS on this turret. Oh, Billy Boss.
Should be all right, especially if he takes down the caster minions.
It's going to be fine. I like that, too. When you are done with the turret aggro, if you take all of the caster minions and those melees and you run them into that tri-brush, you actually pull the minion wave back a little bit further.
Right.
And the whole idea of bouncing a wave is you want it on the enemy side of the map, because then their minions get there faster and reinforce it,
you.
do more damage earlier, and push it so that when you come back to that wave, they've been outnumbering your minions the entire time. And you pick up a gigantic minion wave for yourself.
So easy to say, but you always have to look and count.
Yeah.
Every time you're like 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I messed him up by 1 auto. Why'd they all go after that one?
That's the thing too, is you can mess up minutes of a wave by not allowing it to push correctly. Everything good in the bot lane for Billy Boss as they had that one now in their favor.
Keyray?
Get finished talking about
Yellow Star?
He doesn't know. Just
surprise.
There's a few bumps. He gets the health back right away from his attacks being stacked. So that is just a little bit of jungle knowledge coming in for Yellow Star as he roams around. It does not look like Keyray will be getting his stack on this one as it gets taken away over towards Raptors by Svenskeren.
No lane swap back here from
that's a very good point.
Either side. So usually you swap it back and you try to get the second turret, but it just looks like more denial for both of these top laners. I think that does favor Dignitas though, because your top laner does more with less gold.
That's true. A lot more safer for him to be taking a few shots, and he can push double lift off. You can see Haunter have a little bit of trouble down there. He's getting pressured in. He's got to keep a good distance.
Yeah, it's much easier though for a Quinn to actually sneak in some CS on the
inner queues. Yep. Hopefully,
yeah.
He has to play this one very safe. Kiwi Kid making sure that nobody comes around too close.
Because of these matchups too, Quinn is actually pretty decent into the Lucian. Like you can go back and forth. So Kiwi Kid has to stay around here to make sure that it doesn't end up being a duel that Haunter chunks him out or ends up winning.
Right.
Whereas in that top lane, Caitlyn's never going to get killed by the Malphite. It was never even going to become in like auto attack range. So he's safe, which allows Yellow Star to roam around and affect this map. So you can see that Kiwi Kid is leashed to bottom lane because of the matchup, and now Yellow Star is free to roam about and create havoc and put down wards.
Oh, nice. So close to the cupcake. So Doublelift doesn't have an idea on this one, but it's a level 5, level 3. They're really looking to give Doublelift just a bit of trouble here. He's having way too much of an easy time in this top lane.
That's going to make 3 people come down bottom lane, though, from TSM. So Doublelift is going to be trying to stop the siege by himself. Full HP turrets, though, and on the bot side, there are 3 members here. Svenskeren, Body Slam Flash is available. They can wrap around it, see what they want to end up doing here. And Quinn Braum can stop some of the wave clear. Oh, boy. Oh, Keyray took aggro!
Oh, Mike, no way!
Oh! He had Gromp buff. He attacked him, and then the Gromp buff poison drew turret aggro.
9 games.
That was pretty sick, though. Doublelift with the presence of mind to be like, all right, I'm going to hit him. And then as soon as it went over to him, I think it looked like it actually took Keyray off guard.
See it right here. So he knows Gromp buff is there. You can
he's got the purple stuff around him. He's like, okay, I hit Malphite. There we go, Keyray. Turret's like, hey, we don't like that poison.
Instantly throws out the Peacemaker
too at the end. And Keyray had flash as well. So Keyray, it really took him by surprise. The Peacemaker follow-up and the amount of damage that he took from that turret.
Yeah, could have went instantly down over the wall as well. So that's how you know it took him by surprise, because he had an instant flash that would have saved him.
Never smiting Gromp again. It's 15 damage over 3 seconds. Like literally 5 damage to Doublelift in exchange for his life.
The call for help from the turret is what he needed and what he got. Doublelift hitting level 7 now as he head towards the bot lane to soak up even more experience with a free kill under his belt. We're just 8 minutes in here.
Now it's finally swapped back because they have an advantage on TSM side, so Doublelift doesn't need to stay in that top lane anymore. So he's just going to hang out in this bot lane, catch this gigantic wave. You see the level discrepancy here. Supports. Yellow Star's been roaming, level 3. Kiwi Kid's been babysitting, level 5. So there will be a point where Yellow Star is not as effective as Kiwi Kid is, because he'll hit his ultimate and he'll be able to tower dive.
He's still making moves. He's still heading around, making sure the wards are there for Doublelift to keep getting bigger. Making sure everything's cleared to make him safer. Kiwi Kid doing the same towards the top side, since this turret is the next thing they have their eye on, and we just saw TSM's ping towards the bot. So one more swap for this, and we may get some of that mid lane action if they don't decide to go for tier 2s right away.
Looking at the gold here, Doublelift about 700 up. Haunter though? Gotta be careful.
Barrier stacking does quite a bit of damage. There's Lamb's Respite still on, and a bit of heal for Kirei.
No final auto attack there from Kirei to actually get the oh man, what's it? Mounting Dread, that's what it is. I was like, I remember because I was talking about it before, it's like, why is it called Mounting Dread? It's like, well, it's because Wolf is coming for you, and after the third shot, that's where the Dread comes in. It's no longer Dread, it's actual action. The fear of that third shot.
Towards the top side, looks like second tier will be an option here for Dignitas. Double lift left at that first tier, and TSM's going to try to stop this one, so we'll see if the fight actually happens. Double lift would not have anywhere near home guard. Only 9.5 minutes in here. It feels like we're at least at 15 minutes. And that's the hit up onto the turret. Double lift's going to keep pushing. Mid laners are still in mid. That is Billy Boss going down as he goes a little too hard and locked up by TSM.
Yeah, 3-on-4 in the top lane and a 1-on-0 in the bot lane.
Yeah,
you have way more abilities at the top side
day
to actually defend against this, and Billy Boss just dives in. No flash available for himself because he used it previously. Oh, man. That's going to be a lot of damage on this turret. Kiwi Kid is the one who's backing right now. If Double Lift can push out this wave, Peacemaker it, can get some decent damage on it, but he is going to back. He's not sure of where they're backing in the Fog of War just yet and how close they are. So he could get a little bit more damage, but it's not worth it at this point with the risk.
He's already got a CS lead as well, because you see Dignitas pushing up as a team, sharing all that experience, all that CS. Double Lift's had his own lane.
Yeah, just to stop the back, just to delay. Kirei.
Someone's window shopping.
Kirei.
Back to this play.
Oh, you see right there.
It's actually a great ultimate, but then the Unbreakable
Yellow Star
pretty much denies everything.
Yellow Star with the Unbreakable stopped all the follow-up damage. So Yellow Star not knocked up in that initial combo, and then jumps in, throws down the Unbreakable, and now he's absorbing all the damage, the full HP Braum. Really well played there by Yellow Star, but Billy Boss, that was an itchy trigger finger where you're on a timer of the bot lane being shoved out by Double Lift, and you're losing that.
But it looks so good. They all stepped out. They were all grouped up. I would have taken it.
Yeah, you recognize the opportunity, but
you don't always
counterplay.
You don't always have to take it, just because it's there.
TSM looking for this mid lane turret.
The clear is tough too. Yep. They're taking a little bit for Shifter to get that out. They don't have Apollo.
These are the trap lines that I'm talking about, and I'm gonna go on a little Caitlyn spiel here.
Spiel it.
So when you hit level 13, you get 5 traps, right? And they're on a 10-second recharge timer. So you'll get the maximum amount in 50 seconds. Way lower cooldown than rank 1. So people are maxing at second. And you put the turret... Oh. Okay. Kirei?
That's the headshot! Oh! Knowing the boundaries.
The E!
To the max. Knowing what he needs to do and how he needs to do it. It made it look so easy, and we all thought Kirei's just a step from getting away. Double Lift knew he had the kill.
The 90 caliber net gives you that double range headshot.
Yeah.
That does so much damage.
And then he got another headshot.
Oh man, and so here comes Sven Skaren from the side. But anyway, so when you're setting up with traps as Caitlyn, you put one between the turret and the wall, and then you put the other 4 in the lane. That's when you're sieging turrets. When you're defending them, you put it right out of turret range in a diagonal line, and we'll probably see that later. I actually don't know, because TSM defending turrets may not be what happens this game, because they seem to have vision dominance on this map right now, and they're the ones pushing up instead of defending.
You should just see all these traps go down during the fight. Double Lift starts to snare people left and right. 18 to 20. 2,000 gold lead here for TSM as they start to control more of the map, and they're hardly being pushed off. This turret's taking about 20% each time they approach it. Dragon goes over to TSM.
All right. So
double flash.
Yeah. Flash there, out from Yellow Star.
Or single flash, I should say.
Pulling the Malphite down now, though. Billy Boss finally getting a little piece of this. See what he can do. Back there from Hanser and Sven Skaren. Hanser will come back rather quickly, though.
Billy Boss. Thought about it.
Yep, looks like it'll just be a Rift Herald here. Go knock on Herald's door. Pick it up. See, it'll most likely go to Kirei out of these members.
Yep. So looking at lanes right now for TSM, Bjergsen up 20, Double Lift up 10 CS, as well as Apollo's been able to soak a bit more experience up. Once they got to these side lanes, Dig realized that push not really in their favor, and they'll kind of stop the lanes to Team Solomid before they'll try to make another move towards that top lane altogether. Works out for him because Double Lift got more than they would have wanted in that bot lane push.
Yeah, so Kirei, going off of what he did yesterday, because he built Devourer on Kindred, which I think is suboptimal. He went with Warrior this time, and keyed me off because I was like, he's doing Herald again really early. Herald, when you have Devourer, actually gives you 5 stacks. So you go Herald Dragon, that's 10 stacks there, and then you do both Scuttles, and you have 14. So you're pretty much halfway done with your Devourer in pretty much a minute and a half's time. That's if you went that route, though. This game, though, he did go with the Warrior, but he still went for the Herald just because they're putting a lot of priority on that when there's nothing else to do. They feel like that's better than actually sieging against this team right here. You can see diagonal line coming out from the traps here from Double Lift. Putting it right out of turret range. You step on them, you eat that double range headshot, 1300 range. Looking for an engage though. Hanser on the side, found Kiwi Kid.
Huge ultimate to actually just pop out a Kiwi Kid on that one.
Yeah, right now, TSM, their minion waves on the sides are being pushed towards them. So Dignitas actually has a little bit of a pushing advantage on that top side, or bottom side of the map.
Right, top
is actually going to start pushing towards them, and now they're just sieging.
This will be the turret
Such
if they
a low
focus. Double Lift trying to stay very safe.
Billy?
The aggression over onto the entire team in the mid lane. That's Yellowstar going down, but it's left Hanser and Double Lift to kind of fire off some shots here, and they are whittling down the HP bars of Dignitas. They can't find a way back in after that first initiation.
Double Lift is coming up big in this game.
Yes.
3-0 right now. Only missing out on 1 kill in this game. And Spenskerin's actually being a large part of how they're starting this off and peeling for Double Lift. It's a Caitlyn. You actually have to respect it, despite what people thought about this champion when she got reworked. She's got a lot of damage.
A lot of damage and a lot of range. Once you just think you're out of it, you take that step back in to kind of, you almost try to bait a fight at this point, at this high level of play. You want to be enticing, but really Double Lift's just easy to pick you off and get that last hit at this point.
Yeah, and the fact that he has a Lulu behind him as well gives him that extra picks damage and gives him that extra movement speed.
This
ultimate comes out there. Billy, good ultimate here. Doesn't catch Double Lift though. If it had caught Double Lift, he was taking turret shots. Double Lift would have died. They would have been able to take him out, and then they get the counter kill there. Support for top laner. A little bit, if it had just been a little bit more forward, it would have caught him under turret.
Everything from Bjergsen as well onto Double Lift. The guy that used to be carrying this team gives help and everything he can to let the 3-0 carry, which is the right thing.
Carrying the person that's carrying.
Yeah.
He carries because he's on the shoulder of a giant.
4-1. See how much more they can get in that top line score here. 16:50 into the game. The 3K gold lead. So it's spread a little bit more in TSM's favor now.
Hanser's pretty much just going to be playing the map, going between lanes to farm, trying to avoid Malphite as much as possible. Youmuu's Ghostblade, even when you complete it, doesn't do much against the Malphite. So Hanser's been doing an okay job of dodging this matchup, and TSM has been putting him in a good situation for it. Because TSM last year, whenever there was an unfavorable matchup, sometimes they wouldn't swap it. If they didn't know the matchup, they wouldn't swap it. And now, this game, they know it's an unfavorable matchup. They're making sure that Hanser doesn't fall prey to even the possibility of getting killed by Billy Boss or even ganked. Just safe CS.
For now. I think he had a wave there. He'd be down to about half HP, and I'm sure Kiwi Kid would have went a little bit harder for the engage.
Yeah.
Hanser, no, you are absolutely correct. He doesn't even want a chance to be taken down that much further. Gonna give this turret up, doesn't know through the fog of war what is around him, and he plays it very, very safe.
Evened up in turrets now. Dignitas only down 2,000 gold here. Package is available for Shifter when he backs. They can start something, but Billy Boss on the bottom side of the map, Apollo on the top side. There's 3 members on the top side of the map. They aren't really going to be able to accomplish anything at this moment. And now on the bot side, 3 members of TSM.
Yeah, TSM's focus.
And here comes Double Lift as well. So it's going to be a 4-on-1. Billy, he might have to ulti away.
One thing you always say, take the play to the TP, and that's what they do here with Billy Boss. The team's forced to run to him now. That's going to be the block from Kiwi Kid. He gets there.
So Billy Boss gets to hold all of his abilities. Shifter going back for what looks like he'll try and pick up that package, possibly start a fight here with Hanser on the opposite side of the map. If Billy Boss can get a TP in their own jungle, he can get a good ultimate. Kirei though!
Look at the vision in that side of the jungle right now. It is incredibly dangerous for them to dive in. And Kirei takes the chance to try and get a ward down. Cost him his life.
Oh, man. They have a pink ward at red,
and everybody was in front of it.
Well, TSM was playing around that vision. They were in the Krug pit.
Right.
Bjergsen was in that other bush right in front of the red.
They can't be here then.
Yeah.
That's kind of the feeling you get when you see that vision.
Just barely. Now, Dragon. Shifter, though. Hauntzer, little slippery.
All right. Can't turn into a bird while you're fighting. Can he get these stacks? Oh, cannot. Is lined up with the wall and didn't have too much further to go there. Easily pinned down by Shifter.
Yeah, good play by Shifter.
Picks himself up a kill.
Excluding supports, Hauntzer is actually the weakest champion on the map right now. I actually think that Kirei stands a really good chance if he was even in a one-on-one against this Quinn. Now with the Ghost Blade completed just now, he has a little bit of a power spike, but I definitely think that the state that he's been in this game as this Quinn without getting a large advantage over his opponent and then roaming, like causing havoc to these AD carries in the backline, it's that point where Quinn is starting to power up. He's going towards that Sterix, he's going towards some survivability, and once he does that, then he'll have that stickiness of his damage. But I definitely think you try to pick on him as much as possible early.
Right.
Like, Quinn either makes your top laner feed or feeds your game.
Do you know from experience?
Oh, yes.
We'll see how it happens right here. Apollo goes for the fight himself. Got to remember that blind comes out, so he throws immediately the cone.
Oh, he tried to get the Q.
Oh, Kiwi Kid flies in. Would have been very nice unstoppable force, but unfortunately Billy Boss was not there for the hit. And they are going to have to get out of this one. Unstoppable force is still there, but everything Dig wants to do is head home right now. Yellow Star's back to base. That's the only person that TSM is missing at this point. And it does not look like Dig's going to be able to get any further forward here on TSM's side.
TSM.
What are these assist
some
pings? They're saying, let's get our
Assist
wards
the
back
jungle.
in. And
Yeah,
get
all those
ourselves
wards.
in. Yep.
Clear it out. There's actually a blue trinket ward in that bot side bush near the tier 2 from TSM. That'll probably be there all game. It's a bush people do not check.
Very true.
Very bottom of the
Especially since that turret's down now.
Yeah.
You'll know whoever's farming that lane and how far out there farming it. So it definitely provides some pretty useful information when you're sieging the base.
That's a lot of vision from Dignitas on their bot side of the map where they no longer have a tier 2 turret. TSM, now you go top side, get Baron control, go between those 2 tier 2s that are left for you to take, and then you're fine. All this vision on the bot side of the map, all those pink wards from Dignitas become useless. It's
kind of trying to correct the situation right away, but you actually don't need to correct it because you just need to not do it again. And then you
oh, Billy off their Hauntzer.
Fool yourself into protecting.
Oh, no!
One last shot. I thought it was going to get over the wall.
Get him, Wolf.
Took a little bit long. Hit on Sven Skarin. Fight in the back between Yellow Star. Double lift is huge. Wild Growth's already on, which means he took quite a bit of focus damage here from Billy Boss. Almost able to take down Double lift means good things if they can keep getting fights like that.
You have to respect Kiwi Kid right now. He doesn't have flash, but it's still the Alistar. If he walks all the way around, his ultimate's almost back up, so he can dive the turret, no problem.
They're going to stick with it for a second. Bjergsen tries to get one last Glitter Lance out. This turret will fall. Kirei as well, adding a bit of pressure behind the turret, and Dignitas find a fight that they like.
Yep, Dignitas, they find Hauntzer, right? This Quinn is something that's basically a running money bag. It's really fast, you have to catch it, but it's going to be providing your team a lot of money, because if you're able to catch it with Malphite, with any of your other champions too, then it's pretty much gone. It's super squishy right now.
Well, Hauntzer back down to the bot lane to try and push and stay safe by himself. They're just looking for ways to be able to utilize Double Lift, who got hit pretty hard here. First on to Hauntzer, though.
Pretty good by Billy, too. If you get that catch, and you only have to use your ultimate on it, then that's fine. Double Lift, very low, because they walked forward, and Dignitas was actually able to counter-engage with superior numbers, even though that was a 2-on-1 on the right side. They got the right amount of damage off. And I think there was a couple crits in there, too, from Apollo. That took him off guard, because he's at those 2-item spikes. Double Lift, though, looking for the siege. You clear the minion waves, give Caitlyn the ability to put those traps down in the sieging position. And with Rapid Fire Cannon, she can actually hit the turrets out of their range. And Kiwi Kid, too.
Step to the front, blocking a bit of damage. The turret is theirs. TSM methodically getting what they want around the map right now. Still looking at 2 outer turrets on their side of mid and bot lane. And all they have to work with now is that top lane turret for Dignitas, somewhere they can hover the top side of the map and Baron and make this even harder for Dig.
Yeah, hover that top side of the map. Of course, TSM, they're losing some of these fights and skirmishes. And yesterday, they had a hold on that game versus Cloud9. and then they just let it go. Their focus dropped a little bit. They weren't as attentive to the game as they were before. Hauntzer was jumping in instead of protecting and peeling for the Kog'Maw, and that was the big difference there. Is when you change your playstyle in the middle of the game when something was already working, then you were not adjusting to your opponents. Now you have to play their game. Of course, Billy Boss, though, he's always going to try and go up against this Quinn because the ultimate will be able to tag her. Billy Boss can even just like flash ulti right now and catch him, but Kirei not in position to follow up. There's no wards on the backside of Quinn either, so you could actually walk all the way around. You just don't know that, of course. We have a God mode vision. We know where everything is.
You're said than done. That was always the hardest thing casting. When I first started casting, he's like, but he's right there, other side of the wall.
He's in the bush right there. Just do it.
How do you not know?
Man, now I'm going to be paranoid in my games. I'm going to just start throwing and like skill shots over walls. Like, is he there?
You should. The rule of thumb, somebody is in that brush. That's how you play this game. 25 minutes on the clock, and not too many kills have come from the early part of the game. Just that 5-4. The gold lead's still around 2,000 here. Shifter doing great in the mid lane on this Corki to keep the kills up and keep pressure on from a distance.
Well, Billy Boss is sitting in the bush still. I don't know if he's looking for a TP flank or anything like that, but Dragon's up. Dignitas don't have any vision inside the Baron pit. If they go to Dragon, they lose Baron. But if TSM start Baron, they're most likely to lose that fight because you put yourself in a horrible position. But Double Lift gets the setup traps. He can actually close off a choke point entirely. Yeah.
It's a lot of cupcakes.
Isn't that just unfair?
What was it?
So don't play around those.
Imba?
Imba. Oh, Imba, yeah. Oh, man, taking me back.
Who's going to fight first? Wolf wants it.
So Hauntzer needs to stay away from the rest of the carries on his team because you have to make the choice. Do we go after Hauntzer and focus him down, or do we use the Malphite ultimate onto multiple carries on TSM side? Trying to get the inside track on this wave. Bjergsen, though. Bjergsen and Svenskeren are just trying to clear the wave. Ooh. And you can see Bjergsen's job is pretty much wave clear. He went for the Luden's Echo. We've seen very different Lulu builds. We've even seen Lichbane second after he gets the Frost Queen's Claim. But this is for wave clear, purely for wave clear, because he's really the only wave clear tool on this team, save for Svenskeren.
Right.
Oh, Kiwi!
Kiwi goes in. Svenskeren to Yellow Star! Immediately deleted, and look at this. They have switched goal side. Dig's coming from TSM's side, and they're pushing him into their own base. They are going to get wiped out here. Did they even take damage in that fight? Apollo, the only one to really get scratched.
Barely. They could actually run towards this Baron and pick it up. Jungler down, 4 members of TSM down for another 30 seconds here. Hauntzer the only one up, and Hauntzer was trying to flank that fight. He was trying to get in from the side, and Dignitas, as soon as they saw that, Kiwi Kid recognized the opportunity.
What a dance.
Svenskeren over-aggressed. They're trying to give Quinn access to that back line. That's going to be Dignitas picking up the Baron. No throw at the Baron because everybody else is dead. They take the fight beforehand. That right there, it's body slam forward. Kiwi Kid goes, oh, you done goofed. Jumps right in, gets the knock-up on 2. The front line is gone, and Hauntzer was looking for the flank onto Apollo and Shifter on the minimap, so it was a 2-on-5, and then it was a 2-on-5 again.
That was a great calling. Great all around from the synergy of Dignitas on that fight, instantly pulling the trigger.
Destroying the desk over here.
It's okay. So you're excited. You're excited. At least we can still cast. 40 CS up here for Apollo. He's also coming up big now, 3-0-3 after not really seeing much from him in the early game, but that's when he starts to shine, is in these fights. And we already said Shifter from earlier was helping to get these possibilities in position.
Oh, yeah.
Staying 3-0 and 1 at that point, now 4.
Yeah, both their AD carries have been untouched this game because of the lack of engage on TSM. They have defensive champions here. It's really on Svenskeren solely to engage. But Dignitas, they're the ones with most of the engaging power. So if Dignitas have this lead of 2,000 gold, again, they're able to actually force their lead. They're grouping up as 5. They can siege these turrets with the Corki and the Lucian, do a lot of damage to it, and then they're able to start a fight when they want to. It's just avoiding Hauntzer, who's almost been a non-factor this game. You can see all the CS he has over his lane opponent. It doesn't matter when you're Quinn against the Malphite. The matchup, and I really think that the pick is an incorrect pick here for this composition. I would have liked to see something like a Poppy here.
I was going to say, how does the Poppy play into this? And it seems like it would have.
This is just more for Dig. They're using this Baron buff here. Billy Boss is on the top side, so you have to be worried about that. If TSM can find the right engage with Svenskeren, which they're trying to force now.
Yep, there's a help picks.
It's a 1-1-3 right now. It's a 1-1-3. You're sending Hanser to go deal with Shifter, who's alone in the mid lane. He gets himself a turret there. They're trying to spread their Baron buff out across multiple lanes to maximize it.
Very Dig-like. Using
There's
the
the barrel.
1-3-1. A little too close on this one. Svenskeren puts him on the stairs. There's the teleport coming in from Hanser, or rather Billy Boss, I should say. Hanser already coming out of base onto Shifter. Billy Boss is in. The ultimate actually misses. Yellowstar gets out of that. Double lift able to shoot now onto Billy Boss if they can get the range. Hanser going back into perform. He gets shot right out by Shifter in a quick hit. And that's Billy Boss going down after expending the ultimate and missing by mere inches on what could have been a huge play. TSM is now biting back on that mistake.
Oh,
and
the
they
speed
may
up.
keep going. There's the hit, the whimsy, the shot, the 400 crit, and the kill. He's got red buff as well. I don't think Net will get him in range, but they're not going to stop this pursuit
I don't know.
down the lane.
Double lift. Kind of slow right now, but he has that red buff. They're clearing out the minion waves, pushing it up. That was a macro misplay from Dignitas. When you are doing a split push and you're doing a 1-1-3, your 3 is not actually meant to siege.
You don't poke the bear.
You don't need to actually go in and try to kill a turret with those 3 members. When you do that type of split push, it's all about stalling and making sure that you are keeping track of their numbers. If they're keeping 4 people there to deal with your 3, 1 person is unanswered on the other side of the map, and they did not play that appropriately. They walked too far forward.
Right.
Billy Boss was going to get a turret.
In the play they had, you have to be even extra careful because you don't have team disengage either in trying to split your team that thin.
Yep, Svenskeren
becomes really dangerous.
I was talking about how he's really the only one on this squad that can engage. Kiwi Kid, turn back! He's Alistar though?
Not for dinner. Not just yet.
He's got flash. If he gets down low enough.
Kirei with the hit. The shield heal came out. He is safe.
All right. That's flash, pulverize, flash, headbutt down. But of course, Kiwi Kid with the distortion boots, very popular now on Alistar. Too far forward. Shifter's not there. You shouldn't even be near that. Those are Baron buffed up minions. Just have them check the turret and check the numbers. Billy Boss, he has that turret below half HP. I'm gonna go check it right now. It's legitimately 1,400 out of 4,000. And Billy Boss, ulti's in.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, double it flashed away. What? Very quick on land. Flashing a Malphite ultimate is actually rather easy. There's pretty much no excuse for getting hit by a Malphite ultimate that distance on land and having flash up.
I noticed Yellowstar there, but he did it so quick my eyes didn't draw up to the top of the screen fast enough.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to actually hit the Quinn on the left side, but he went for double lift instead on the right. And double lift was in a position that I don't think he could have even reinforced with the rest of his team. So it was a little bit of an overextension there, even with the Malphite ultimate. So Dignitas, they misstep, but they still have a gold lead. The Baron is gone, though, so they don't have that going for them. But they still have this composition and the fact that they can go back to that 1-1-3 or group up as 5. So the options are pretty much Dignitas's to choose from.
I mean, look at that fight. Dig's still 3,000 cold in the lead right now. In this control, they're going to give Svenskeren a hell of a day here. Oh, right to double lift. Cleanse goes off immediately. The damage has to be there from Shifter. Shifter can't get close enough. The team's trying to block. Kiwi Kid's in now. They finally get him to go down. And Kiwi Kid gets the last attack in. Svenskeren way too far for the team. They're trying to clean up kills on Dignitas now, but it's slivers of health that aren't calculating into kills. And it looks like Bjergsen's going to be forced back. He was trying to get that last hit over onto Kiwi Kid, but with the team and power and numbers is going to be stronger here.
Yep, 5-3. They have a little bit of the wave clear, like you said, from Bjergsen, but this turret's going to go down. 380 carries. That's a lot of damage to these turrets on a very consistent basis. They have top lane pushing in as well. Top turret is next.
This is also the thing, Zyrene. You look at a composition that TSM has, and so much is in double lift. When you lose him, you don't have much that you're protecting with either. There's not much of a threat now on the team.
Yeah, they knew his flash was down.
Yep.
And, ooh, Yellowstar, too far forward.
Dignitas coming up big on Team Solomid, coming off of yesterday to the loss on Cloud9. Now taking a hit from Dig after they try to repair some of these errors being pushed to the limit right now.
So close. Bjergsen almost going down there. TSM, they are on the brink of losing their second place spot and dropping to 4th.
We thought they would be back with CLG today. That's pretty much the general consensus of what it was, but Dignitas absolutely showing up here in the early game. Shifter in mid, Billy Boss, few of the ultimates as well towards the middle part. He's kind of been getting him in trouble now, which is something they have to work on. But yeah, starting things like this is what begins.
QSS used on the knockup. You can QSS knockups. You need a movement ability to regain control. He didn't have flash, so he went for the 90 caliber net. But you can't actually use cast time abilities while you're in the air still.
Right.
So he QSS's the CC and the knockup, but immediately you cannot use cast times. And it has a cast time on it. For example, if I'm Orianna and I QSS a knockup, I can QWE, but I cannot R. So it actually regains control. But if you have flash, you QSS flash, you're fine. You can actually move again. So knockups are QSS.
Did you know?
Did you know? And that one I do know.
Thank you for not trolling us.
He actually did it yesterday on Kog'Maw when he got Lee Sin kicked. He QSS flashed back.
Right, yep.
It was actually pretty sick. It was very fast. They lost that fight, though, and they lost that game, and they're in danger of losing another game here and going 0-2 for TSM. Their first 0-2 week of the split.
Absolutely crazy. Definitely credit to Team Dignitas for really turning things on here towards the second part of the split.
Yeah, and Dignitas, I mean, their draft has always been a little questionable. I love this one. Sven goes in!
This could be bad. Apollo takes a bit of damage, but he gets the heal off right away, which keeps him nice and healthy. And in this fight, there goes Billy Boss. The flashes are hit there from TSM. They're starting to re-engage. Hauncers trying to get the Harrier stacks on. Kirei, Lamb's Respite on in the front line, so they can't get anybody to die immediately. And it means TSM doesn't really want much of the fight either.
Yep.
They are starting to back out. Flashes have been used on the priorities. Doublelift staying safe because of that.
And super minions pushing into the base here on the top side of the map. You have to defend your base. TSM with 2 inhibs down. Baron for Dignitas. Kiwi gets off on the side. He's going to try to flank Doublelift if he can. Doublelift doesn't know!
Oh, he gets bumped into the team and immediately deleted. Look at Kiwi Kid shaking his head up and down, loving the play. They know they made the right call. And again with Baron, they're going to be going into TSM's base.
And there's only 2 turrets left on the map here. 3 turrets. Got a little excited. I couldn't see the just gigantic minion wave up there. Still, ping in the base. Dignitas, they might look to close here.
This is absolutely crazy. Doublelift down for another 30 seconds. Remember, all that power on Doublelift is off the map now. The confidence is just surging for Dignitas to be inside the base. They're lacking Kirei at the moment. His ultimate's down anyways, but that's still damage. They will need to pressure down these turrets. They have to be careful.
And Dignitas, if they win this,
15 seconds.
If they win this, they go to 4-8. But look at that, they engage.
We've talked about these 17, 18 fights. They talked about in the analyst desk today. If you lose this, it will be all the way back down for TSM. But Dignitas looks to have a stranglehold on it. They are suffocating out TSM in their own base. They will take down TSM, and it will be a 36-minute game. Team Dignitas takes down TSM.
Incredible play there from Dignitas.
Wow.
Capitalizing on the weaknesses in the composition from TSM and playing their game for one of the first times in the split. They move to 4-8, and that ties up TIP and Echo Fox, and those teams play each other. So one of them will be tied with Dignitas now at the end of the day, and that means that they're going to be closer to that playoff spot that they want. It's kind of this race for that 7th place spot, and then what happens with Energy and Team Liquid? Do they fall down? Can you overtake them and break into playoffs? And Dignitas, very few hiccups this game, but they came back from a deficit playing their composition strengths.
One of the things they did well is also correct the in-game mistakes, making sure that they didn't repeat errors and fall farther and farther behind. The mistakes they did make, when those mistakes were done, Dignitas was still up in gold, which meant they were doing the right things and recognized where the errors were. Team Solomid as well, looking at these games, there are always the strong points for them, and it just seems to be one crutch towards the end of a game where they lose too much. If this were to happen in the early game, I feel like TSM could come back. But when it's a loss of a few turrets and then an inhibitor, things get a bit too chaotic, it seems.
Yeah, TSM, their last 3 weeks have been all over the place. 2 weeks ago, they played Echo Fox and Renegades, and they were not happy with those victories, despite it being a 2-0 weekend. It was really sloppy. Then they had a 2-0 week again, and it was really clean against Impulse and CLG. And they were really happy, and it looked like they were working together.
Right.
And then this week was a little bit of a step back. They lost to Cloud9, and they lost to Dignitas, and were handed their first 0-2 weekend of the split. So TSM right now, is it back to the drawing board? What happens now? Because this is, like I said, first time that they've had this weekend that's full of defeat for them. Because last week, it was full of victory, but they looked defeated.
Well, seeing what Yellowstar said and how proud he was of the team, this definitely has to take a toll with how much they actually want to show what they've been working on. How that's going to come forward for them is still in question here with what we've seen here in the past few games. So it might be a difficult road ahead. Right now, however, we are going to check in with